Hi there, thanks for taking the time to meet with me today. I'm aware that your school philosophy emphasises teaching the whole child, and I believe I am the perfect candidate for this role, as I too am passionate about the cognitive and moral development of my students. Development is a complex term to explain, however, it is an integral aspect of teaching. My personal view of development is about witnessing a positive change within a student which helps them to grow as a member of our community. Appreciating the development of a child's cognition is essential to teachers, as it is about understanding a child's patterns of thinking and how and what influences this to change over time. Piaget's stage theory of cognitive development establishes 4 phases which are divided into age ranges, which aim to explain the process of how children's ways of thinking change as they go. It is a highly structured theory which determines that children progress from one phase to the next as their cognitive development advances, each stage having a more complex and systematic thinking process. Although Piaget's theory has been criticised, mainly for his universal view of learning and that he perhaps underestimated the ability of children, Piaget is one of the most influential child psychologists due to his emphasis on children's ability to actively construct meaning through maturation and experience. Vygotsky expanded on Piaget's work to examine the importance of culture on cognitive development. Social interactions with more knowledgeable others and the child's active exploration of the world around them is what fuels Vygotsky's sociocultural theory. One of the distinguishing features of Vygotsky's work is what he calls the ZPD, the zone of proximal development, and states that this is where learning happens. This is the distance between a student being able to do something under guidance to transition them into doing the task independently, which is certainly what we aim for as teachers. Through this collaboration, students acquire the knowledge to be able to independently perform the task later on. It is Vygotsky's view that it is through our social interactions with others and how we become ourselves. Moral development is about evolving students' sense of right and wrong. Kohlberg followed on from Piaget's work, where each theory consists of a sequence of qualitative changes in the way an individual thinks. Kohlberg's theory focuses on the importance of developing moral reasoning behind children's behaviour, rather than simply focusing on their actions. While children learn a lot about rules from home, many of these fit within Kohlberg's pre-conventional stage about learning what will make mum and dad angry. Therefore, school plays a vital role at communicating standards and norms which members of our society are expected to abide by. Using Kohlberg's theory in the classroom aids in students' acknowledgement of the need to hold virtues such as honesty, kindness and patience in order to grasp the bigger issues of justice, rights, equality and human welfare. One of the most popular ways to implement this theory into the classroom is the idea of introducing a moral dilemma. The dilemmas contain a complex problem of which the level of difficulty is beyond that of what the students may have come across in past experiences, therefore challenging them to extend their moral reasoning and really having to think about their answers. Piaget's work on moral development focused on children being able to work together to determine a fair outcome of a moral issue. It follows from his work on cognitive development, which views younger children as egocentric. This is why it is important to ensure children are able to understand other people's perspectives in order to develop their morality. Decision-making and problem-solving are essential skills for the development of students' moral reasoning. Flavel 1998 states that children are clearly not blank slates that passively and unselectively copy whatever the environment presents to them. This quote exemplifies the impact that I as a teacher can have on the development process. As a teacher, I am not just a role model, but am a key player in developing students' view of the world around them and the member of society that they become. As an adult, it is easy to take for granted the way our mind processes our thoughts, feelings and actions. This is why understanding cognitive development in children is so vital. In my classroom, moral development is incorporated into each lesson rather than one specific set of tasks, to ensure students understand why we need to act in certain ways. I utilise Piaget's stage theory to recognise different levels of cognition which aid in ensuring tasks are set at appropriate standards and are not too difficult or too easy for majority of the class. I only use these ages as a rule of thumb, as each child needs to be viewed as an individual learner, not just a category. This may not be able to understand the concept of conservation, for example, allows me to strategically assess my intended lessons to guarantee it is of benefit to the class. As a teacher, I am one of the MKOs that Vygotsky speaks of. When teaching, I aim to ensure that I am not simply teaching the required content, but allowing the students to make their own meaning of what is being taught using their past experiences as well as learning from my behaviours. I use a lot of reflective practice, which allows me to gauge how the child has understood a specific task using their own background. In terms of moral development, I make sure that my classes take part in a lot of group work involving decision making and problem solving, as this is a great way for students to be able to see others' points of view and assess all the potential outcomes to an issue. While it is important that my students follow the class rules, I am striving for them to form a moral identity which they will take with them throughout their lives. I will be a positive role model, showing courtesy and respect to students and staff. Having these positive relationships will assist in the moral development transpiring to the students as they emulate my actions as a mentor. Here is an example of how I would use these strategies. The first task is looking at stage 1. What I would do is read a big book to the class to start with. I would then pair the class into competent readers and less competent readers, so they are in groups of 2. They are then given a small copy of the book and asked to go outside and find a place to sit within a supervised area and read alternate pages of the book, taking it in turns. From then, students come back into the classroom and are asked to write 2 sentences in their pairs about the book. Pairs will take it in turns to stand up in front of the class and read out their sentences of what they thought of the book. This example incorporates Piaget and Vygotsky's theories of development. It utilises a combination of teacher and peer-assisted learning. It includes Piaget's practical learning and Vygotsky's collaboration of students of varying levels and reflecting with the group on what has been learnt from the task. Students are increasing their ZPD by practicing reading without me correcting every mistake and allowing the more competent readers to act as models for the less competent reader. By coming up with a reflective sentence, they are expressing how they view the book, which incorporates their own experiences. Speaking in front of the class will help to develop their confidence. Being in pairs will be less daunting than standing alone. This task will also develop listening skills, as they are required to listen to myself, their partners, and the other students. My next example is for stage 3. The task here is to get into groups of 3 and 4. They are asked to list the values which are important to the class. From here, they are required to discuss each answer and select one that they believe is the most important. They are able to make a slideshow demonstrating which values they chose, how they decided on one answer, why it is important, and how it should be incorporated into the classroom. This example demonstrates the application of Piaget's theory, as students are encouraged to try out a range of different strategies in order to reach a fair outcome, such as a vote or a list of pros and cons. It demonstrates Kohlberg's theory as it focuses on understanding why they chose their answer, not simply whether the answer is right or wrong. Being able to justify an answer is a lifelong skill. Assisting a child to understand something new is an amazing feeling. Knowing that I am helping them to develop into a positive member of our community is an even greater feeling. Thank you for meeting with me today.